I'd like to call this meeting order. Please rise for the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Roll call, please.
Mayor Caucus.
Here.
Mr. Ranieri.
Here.
Mr. Lobenstein.
Very good. Here.
Mr. Farrell.
Here.
Mr. Root.
That's rude.
Mr. Wood.
Here.
Mr. Basor.
Here.
Everybody else is
And
up.
Mr. Wozuk is here from Public Works. Thank you. Statement. Public notice of this meeting pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act has been given by the clerk in the following manner. One, posted on the bulletin board in the Borough Clerk's office on March 11, 2016. Emailed to the retrospect and courier post on March 11, 2016. New business discussion for 6/8/16's meeting. Public hearing bond ordinance. Everyone knows that we introduced our 6/8. Yeah, what, you got 6/8 on. Well, this is the meeting. We move it a day back because of the
Yeah, the
election.
next meeting is 6/8.
It's a
First
Wednesday.
Tuesday of the
Tuesday's an
month.
election day. We have election.
It's a Wednesday. It's a Wednesday. Because the 7th is election day.
And election's in here.
I understand that.
We do it every year. We do.
And November.
And November, we do it.
November I just go away, so I. Okay. I'll,
So second reading for the bond ordinance, which just to make clear to everyone, that was the improvements in the Borough Hall, the improvements in Public Works, the improvements in recreation, all the things that were listed. Resolution granting a TDB exception. This is the, is this the transfer of the?
This is a totally disabled.
Oh, totally separate, okay. This is a veteran that the Veterans Administration has determined does not pay property taxes, so we have to adopt that. Resolution adjusting sewer charges, no big deal. Resolution Chapter 159, Clean Communities, what is that?
It's something that Rich.
Okay, this is just the money.
We have to, it's something that didn't make it into the budget, so we have to.
Okay, we got a check for $20,000 for Clean Communities, so I'm assuming he's plugging it in. Authorization for entry into New Jersey Firemen's Association. I guess we do that every year for the fire
Well, we
department.
do that whenever anybody requests it. There's an application they fill in.
Oh,
And you have to, council has to approve it.
and because I think this is part of the contract that we have to, but I don't think it's a big deal. And a thank you note from the Desio family. We have some other new business, but we'll move through that. We'll do the resolution. This is what Joyce needed this evening. Resolution 16-67 is a resolution authorizing the extension of the plenary retail consumption license to the receiver in aid of execution, Joseph A. McCormick, Jr., Esquire. This is Antonetta's. This is their liquor license will go to the receiver until the new owner takes over. And then the new owner would go for the formal application.
Well, actually, the receiver might apply for it.
Oh, really?
Which I understand they can do, Len?
Well, they can apply for it in their capacity as receiver if the
Only because it's going to be June 30th, and they don't want to lose.
They don't want to lose the license, huh?
So this will be temporary, but if the receiver's going to operate the business pending the sale, then the receiver would make the, but then the ultimate new owner would come in just like anybody had, when you had a person-to-person transfer.
But this action keeps the license intact, so it doesn't get returned back to the state.
Well, the auction is what, June 23rd?
23rd.
Yeah, June 23rd.
June 23rd, Antonetta's is up for auction.
Where's that going to be?
It's a telephone or online auction?
Yes, it's
Something different now. It's a company out of Philadelphia that is doing it online by
Can you
phone.
watch it or you have to?
I think you could put an offer in right now. You're allowed to, and it just closes on a certain date, like a silent auction, I guess,
Oh, good.
to do that. So are there any questions about this, this resolution? Okay, is there a motion?
I'll make a motion. I second that.
Motion by Mr. Root, second by Mr. Lobenstein. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Farrell,
Yes.
Mr. Lobenstein,
Yes.
Mr. Ranieri,
Yes.
and Mr. Reed.
Yes.
4 ayes, 2 absent.
All right, this resolution is adopted. So you'll let them know?
Yes, I will inform Mr., he has to be approved by the state. After this is done, I send this up to the state, and then his receiver, his extension of the license gets okayed.
Okay. Since Ms. Passio is not here this evening, she did send me an email, so I'm just going to do it. She wanted to add something to the council meeting for June 8th. And that is Barrington. This will be our, I think, our fifth year in a row that we've been supporting the Barrington fireworks in conjunction with our 4th of July parade. So it's basically a shared service that we've been giving them $1,000, and they promote it as a Runnymede Barrington fireworks show. So what we'll need is a resolution. I don't know if we actually need one, but I think it's good if we do a resolution just authorizing the $1,000 to Barrington for the fireworks. And it is on Friday, July 1st at 6:30 p.m. is the parade, and then 9 o'clock is their fireworks show. And then, of course, we have our parade on the 4th. Okay? That's all she asked me to do for that. She did want me to... What's the...
I'm sorry. How do you say if that meeting, if the parade is canceled on the 4th or the 5th?
We've never done that.
Whatever, yeah. I mean, how would you?
I think we're a rain or shine event unless it's really bad.
Well, especially because.
Tuesday's a working day.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking.
Joyce, have we ever postponed or canceled our parade?
If we have, we've done it on a weekend.
That's what I was
I don't think you can do it during the week.
Yeah, I don't know.
And you
We have a
get approval
permit that
from,
goes the street.
You have to
And,
get approval from Trenton.
yeah, we do get approval, correct, to close, he's not
We have
involved in
6
that.
people watching the parade.
Yeah, well, hopefully, come on now, it's not gonna rain. It'll just be hot.
Well, if you could just make it.
You have string bands?
Yes.
Do you have string bands with feathers?
I think we
They
can.
won't march with the feathers in the rain or the wind.
Obviously, the other thing that Ms. Patsy, I want to remind everyone, is our Memorial Day ceremony, Monday, May 30th at noon. Basically, the VFW will be there for presentation of colors, invocation, and then we do have some keynote speakers. We have our congressman that will be there, hopefully some of our other local elected officials, and we have a special recognition of a deceased veteran. So hopefully everyone can show up. Is there anything else about the public events?
We're going to have, the Memorial Day, we're going to have the tent again for the weather, whether it's foul weather or if it's too hot, we're going to have a tent so people can get in the shade. And also a keyboard player, as we always do, the same keyboard player. And I think that he'll be there early. So anybody want to get there early, there will be some early music. It's always a good event, and hope everybody comes
I
out.
think it starts at noon, right? So.
Yeah.
Okay. Why don't we go around the table first, and then I'll go through my stack and see what we're talking about. Mr. Ranieri, you want to go first?
Thank you, Mayor. And Council, thank you. Good evening, everybody. As always, I talk about our budget. Our budget was adopted and accepted, and again, our second year with no increase in taxes or sewage rates. That's municipal taxes, and our local sewage rate has stayed the same. That's about it. Not a lot going on directly with finances. However, I did want to mention a few things that Rich had sent me. Last year, 2015, and a few years prior, we have been working on grant receivables, money that we've had on the street, some projects. A lot of projects closed over the last couple of years in 2015. That money is in. I think that's another reason why we had such a good year of surplus. And that this year as well, we've just gained about $100,000 in grant money on a few items, which is progress. And also, Rich was asking me to just mention a few things he's working on, and they sound pretty interesting. One of them is we're working on a tracking project that tracks any of our projects that are in operation. It's going to work with Microsoft Outlook. All departments, committees, any action items will be part of this tracking system. And each week, council and mayor will be getting a report to show you where the projects are, where they're sitting, if they're stalled, moving forward, etc. So we have a better overview of what's going on in each department and with the council, which I thought was very nice. In addition to that, Harry has saw an incident occur this last week or this week, a few weeks ago, and he took a little snapshot. I want to pass these out. Take one and pass it around. Just a safety issue in town on Elm Street, right behind Wawa, leading to the ball field. You guys got enough of these? I'll talk about it once you get them out. Between the Wawa and the ball field, it's an issue. There was an older woman trying to cross the road. And if you take a look at the top left picture, that's all we have. On Wawa side, there's the curb that's cut out, see? The other side is really not. It's a half curb, and there's really, ladies in a walker. Harry had to help her cross the street. If you look at the road, there's no other place to cross. It's a long road. It's a very busy area. You know, everybody's going back and forth to Wawa. And if you look on the bottom right, you'll see the piano keys. It's what Harry recommended we do, at least put the painted strips in and finish the one curb that doesn't even have a cutout. It's got a half a curb in the way. So many trips on that. We don't need to have a problem.
Well, let me give you a little backstory on this. This was not done by the borough. This was a resident painted 2 stripes. So let me make everyone clear.
Is that what that is?
Yes.
We need to finish that.
A resident just painted this crosswalk.
Well, no, we don't need to finish it. We first determine whether or not there needs to be a crosswalk.
Yeah, this is a mid-street crosswalk.
So that's the first thing.
This is an illegal crosswalk that was done by a
It
resident.
was brought to my attention, so I'd like to bring it
And it's
to
good.
everybody.
It's good, but I didn't notice either. But, so that's, we have to decide whether or not that's an appropriate place for a crosswalk. And then if the answer is yes, then we move forward to talking about what you, but if the answer is no, then we gotta get out there and block that out.
And I believe what happened was that, when we did the shared service to put the parking down by the R. Fields handicap parking, that this was just, this was not planned. Literally, this was just a resident who painted white lines across the street. So if we want to identify it, this is not, I understand there might be a need for a crosswalk to go to Wawa and to get the kids and people on the other side of the street, but I agree that maybe we ought to take this a little more seriously and maybe look at it to meet code, and maybe our engineers are going to have to go down there and look at it and do something. The season's coming to a close, so this would be a good time if we do have to pour a little time.
It would be a good time to just go out and paint black, it would be fine. So-
Probably should paint it black right away. It's not a legal crosswalk.
Pretty interesting. Well, I'm happy to hear that, because I was thinking, boy, that's a pretty.
Well, a few other reasons. Wawa's, they're remodeling and their plans have been submitted, et cetera.
Well, this is a good opportunity that if they want to have access to
That's what I'm,
Elm, it should have been part of their planning board,
I don't
an
think-
application to put this sidewalk in. So I agree with you.
I think their plans are sitting in the zoning. I don't think it's moved forward yet, so should I do?
So it's got nothing, it's not going back in front of the planning board, or it is coming back in front of the planning
Well, this is not an issue anywhere. With Wawa, there's also an issue with a fence. I'm going to bring this
board?
up
Are they
as well.
coming to the planning board?
I've seen the plans. I didn't open up, look at them yet, but I see them in zoning. I don't know how far we've gotten with that.
But is it just a zoning issue and going to be approved at just a construction level, or does it?
Construction level for the remodel.
Well, then we might have to,
Well, you might want to have a Dutch uncle conversation.
yeah.
A what?
Just go talk to Chris and Keith and see.
Dutch uncle conversation. It would be really nice if we had an official crosswalk here, with cutouts and dun-dun-dun.
I know. Who do we talk to?
Well, the applicant is going to have to know that we're not going to approve this.
Well,
Until-
we're
We're talking.
talking to the applicant and just, passes that information on, just put it out there. Then the applicant may come back and say, in addition, we're willing to do this.
And there's no concrete between the Wawa and.
Well, it's the perfect time to bring it up because
Perfect.
Yeah.
another thing I've heard a lot about is a fence, maybe a 4-foot fence to keep the litter on their side. Is that something we want to bring to their attention as well?
If it's a permitted use, it's not really something, but unless you're saying to stop the trash. I don't believe the trash is necessarily all caused by,
You think they're using,
I think it's just people just not
Sloppy.
It's not the
throwing.
wind, yeah, it's not the wind, it's the people.
I think it's
Taking it
people,
from Wawa.
and that's why we have new trash cans now, and hopefully that'll help.
okay, well, we'll deal with the safety
I
issue.
mean, we just bought 37 trash cans, correct? 26 trash cans, I'm sorry. 26 trash cans. But I think this is a great opportunity, we should talk to Keith. But what's the thought right away? Do you think we need to paint that black if it's not legal?
Where is that?
It's directly,
Upper left hand, that is,
it's directly behind the Wawa.
You see,
You see the truck?
You see the temporary asphalt, like the new asphalt? That's the new asphalt from the handicap parking spots in front of the pole.
and on the other end, if you can see on the top right-hand corner, right? That's the further corner, you can see where that is, right? You see that there's the walkway, the curb cut out there, it goes nowhere, it goes nowhere.
Well, maybe we need to look at this street a little bit. I mean, this is a street that needs to be repaved. You know, once again, our list is
I
extremely
think that we
long.
should do something just to, you know, what are we painting black? What are we talking about?
Mid-block,
They're probably taking it.
Okay.
The only reason trying to do the rest on the other side is that's the drainage from the Wawa park.
That's a drainage, okay.
It's not a handicap.
That's not a
crossing. That was getting their drainage off of the park.
Gotcha. That was the misunderstanding, I think.
So we gotta get rid of the stripes.
Yeah, 'cause that's not even a proper-
Okay, good. And if we're gonna have a crosswalk, we have to put it properly.
We have to do it properly.
Okay.
Yeah, we have to have the correct slope on the ramp, we have the correct location.
Just so you know.
Mid-street is very tough, isn't it?
Do you see that older woman in the picture? Where your thumb is? You see that older lady in the picture?
Yes?
Harry escorted her across the street, just to let you know, he did his good deed for us. He helped her across the street.
How did we get, we've never done it?
Another matter that is for you.
We never had sidewalks here. We never had sidewalks there for 50 years.
Oh, I know that, but I'm saying over here. Where the stop sign is,
Why didn't the borough put a crosswalk there?
somebody.
Elm Avenue was done maybe 9 years ago, right?
Yeah, 9, 10 years ago.
10 years ago, and it just wasn't on
I'm
the.
seeing kids walking across the street and they walk.
Well, you don't have a crosswalk in every single, you don't have a crosswalk necessarily everywhere. There's a lot of streets that don't have crosswalks.
This is a highly active, very active area.
Yeah.
It would be smart to get that.
I don't disagree, it's just, we just gotta do it right.
That's right. So,
Yeah.
black one out for now, and
Kids
then
run
we'll do it
directly
right.
from the clubhouse to Wawa.
Well, that was the unintended consequence. The Wawa drove a lot of people, and I don't think Wawa intended that that's what would happen.
We used to have a flourishing business before in the stands.
To do it
Then
right.
Wawa opened up, it went away.
Will we do it right?
Cost more than half,
Is that
right?
something you have to vote on, or something needs to get done?
What's blocking out the line?
So, are you gonna have, or is there something you're gonna jump on and tell us where to go?
Oh,
To do it the proper way.
Well, here's what we need to do with our engineer. Let's talk about how we're gonna deal with our engineer.
Yeah.
Anything we want to do, we really need to be a little more planning, more, instead of shooting from the hip. So we've identified a problem, like you just said, we've identified something we need to resolve. We can quickly make sure that the safety issue is taken away,
That's
mitigated
most important,
immediately.
Most important.
Fine. Now, the second thing is to sit there and say to the engineer, if we were to go, if you were to hire, if I was to hire you to do a job, you'd give me a price first, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
So he should say, okay, look, if we're gonna go down there, let's look at Bob's pointed out another problem. We really should look at that whole intersection. Do we need a crosswalk on the other side? If we're gonna do it, correct? You talked about painting those bars. So is there certain things we can do, certain things we can't do, and stuff like that? So we've identified it, the season's coming to an end.
All warrants completed.
Yes.
Everything's ready, it's time to
That's all.
go.
The proper place to put this would be at that intersection, not mid-block.
Right.
And people are not gonna wanna walk down that intersection.
So,
We are dealing with Americans.
There is a safe way to do it if you want to do it, we provided it. If they don't want to do it
Yes.
that way, that's what we'll do.
and that would require putting a curb cut where the lady is in the picture, because there's not a curb cut
Okay.
there. But it does look like there's one on the Wawa side.
There is one on the wall.
There is one on the wall.
Yes.
Whether that meets current standards.
Yeah.
Wrong
That's
way.
not-
That's another, that's where we'd have to investigate.
Right.
But I think we can say through the engineering department this would be one of the projects he puts on there, and we take a look at how we're gonna do it. You know, small concrete work,
It's a small job.
it's something we can hire a small vendor, even Belmar, something like
It
that.
may be coincide with another project.
But it has to be done well. It's gotta be the right slope. It's gotta have,
We need the engineer to provide the scope of work and the proper order, bring it back, just so we have a discussion, so we can review, and then from there, we can decide how we can move forward with it.
and this is where Rich will say, okay, well, we're gonna do another plan. So, you know, there's gonna be a cost, there's gonna be a cost to, you know, to design it, there's gonna be a cost to bring it to fruition, and then it has to be done legally. Now, there's no ordinance for a crosswalk, right? Yeah. So, not that way.
Mid-block, it requires an ordinance, but if we have plans by our engineer, with the Wawa, we can suggest, hey, we need this improvement, would you tackle this part of your?
But we would still need an ordinance to approve it. But no, if it's part of Wawa's application.
Well, that would be something they would agree to do as part of their zoning planning approval.
But then they're tying us to it, though, to make us put a, would we still have to do an ordinance if they put a mid-block?
You don't want to.
We don't want a mid-block.
I thought
Yeah.
we're hoping that we can get Wawa to see the light.
Hey, Craig, let me remind you, when I first got on council, we used to have meetings till almost midnight. Len's been the one who's been kicking me out.
I believe that
Because we don't get to talk all the time. This is the only time we get to talk as six, as.
That area is, I would consider it to be the heart of the town, with the volume of goods,
Sporadic.
goods coming and going out of that place, the ball field, there's a lot of activity there.
But do we want to do what Craig even says? It took a lot of it away from the stand.
Yeah.
You know, but I guess we're not gonna stop that. We're not gonna stop it for a while. So let's look at it. We've got two things going on here now. We can fix the safety issue, and we've got wildlife money to do some
And I'm
renovations.
talking to the general manager, I've gotten to know her, Debbie, and she said this is the first year that they're mandated to spend some money in town. So I don't think we want them to spend money on our sidewalks, we want to do something else. That's something else I want to talk about. Could be refurbishing the basketball nets.
Yeah, the big domain,
Completely.
yeah.
But I said I'll get back to you, let you know. I won't wait too long, so maybe we can all think about what we want them to do.
Well, I thought that
We
was
have
a
a list
great,
of projects, or is that the one we should go?
well, what are they offering? Are they offering a certain amount of money? Are they
I'm gonna hit
offering?
her up, I'm gonna go talk to her.
Right,
Give me
Mike,
a
you
number.
looked at that before about the basketball nets, didn't you? Or was that John who sold it?
No,
It was you?
we were trying to get like
Yes.
scoreboards out of them, and they didn't want to do nothing.
But Wawa originally donated the factory,
Find out what they're willing to put up, and then you can back it.
That's what I'll do.
back into it, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Interesting.
Thank you, Harry.
You know, it's funny, I apologize for knowing about this problem, but once again, I don't know everything about something. I didn't know that it was necessarily.
Well, you saw an older woman in trouble, so.
That's what, so,
Yeah.
the fireworks was that, yes, it's a problem when, you know.
And when we did the sidewalk, we never thought about a curb cut down at that intersection.
I did the ADA from the baseball fields.
Yeah, we were trying to get the baseball fields connected, never thinking about crossing the street. That's why we didn't do that side. But Elm Avenue, why didn't we do a crosswalk for Elm Avenue? Because we were even thinking, for Constitution, when Constitution was repaved and the light was put in, there was no thought about that either down there.
At the other end.
It was at the other end, the light was at the other end. And then we did the parking lot at Harry Williams, we weren't thinking about it either. I saw you were painting all the bumpers, that looked nice. Makes it look clean. Okay, did you have anything else?
No, I'm good.
Mr. Longstein?
Just Parks and Rec, just moving along right now. I'm waiting on the soccer field to see what's going on with that. Have we heard anything from the DEP?
There was a letter sent out today that I think we're good.
Okay,
I don't know if everybody was given a copy of it, I don't even think I opened it. I think we're fine. Did you get a letter?
Yeah, it's the final approval, should be in hand, I think, on the 30th.
So we'll have a letter on the 30th.
Yeah, I got from that email, it was, a
What?
letter did not come in today.
Yeah, we got
to be able to do some work down
Yeah, because we're gonna put that pad in for the pavilion, right? Is that what
Right.
we're waiting on that? And then the tree work and then the field improvements, right?
But as of today, there's a cease and desist order that still is in existence
Until the 30th,
until we get that letter.
until we get the letter. Okay.
Yeah, that's weighing heavily, and, you know, because I keep getting asked about that.
Tell them August 1st.
Yeah, August 1st, that's what I keep saying.
Yeah.
And,
It'll farm to me.
okay.
They'll understand when August is.
And also Wawa, I was down at Green Acres the other day looking at the basketball backboards, and Wawa's name is partially on there. So I was thinking about going to talk to them anyway, so that's good.
Harry, would there be companies out there that would come, and they're large industrial backboards, would they sandblast, you know? Is there companies that would sandblast and then paint and restore that and keep them from rusting apart? Or we just replace that, the entire thing, leave the poles? What do you think?
I would have to take a look at it.
And can we get prices? Can we start that? So I have some numbers to approach her with?
Well, why don't you see, I think what Len said, why don't we see what they're willing to do first? Because they might want to do sustainable things. You know what I mean? They might not be interested in that. You know, I don't know if she's got parameters. Why don't we find out her parameters
Well,
first before we...
Look, either way, the basketball courts do have to be done.
I
So,
agree.
do we replace them or refurbish them? That's my question to you. Can you get some prices on that stuff for us?
But once again, we're putting, yeah, I'm gonna defend, how many battles are we gonna fight here? You know, we have to prioritize a little bit, and I agree with you, we've identified these basketball nets for a few years, but are we going to pave Second Avenue? Are we going to finish this parking lot? Are we going to get that fire piece of equipment?
Well,
So if he stops what he's doing to go do that, you know, then what else suffers? Does Memorial Day suffer? Did the flags? Well, we'll let you do
that can go on the list on the bottom. Maybe you can make the list too. That's all.
I say we find out what they want to do. I mean, if they're gonna give us $2,000, you know, we can find something small. But if they're gonna give us $20,000, or they want something with their name on it, I'm
I
just,
think it's probably closer to two.
I think there is many concepts. One concept is how much is well going to contribute. The second concept is, we got to address the basketball courts, they're irrelevant as to what.
They are.
That's right.
And I can tell you without, that it's going to be cheaper to replace them, but you can go to.
Gotcha.
it'll be cheaper to replace them. They're about 30 years old, I think.
Yeah, it'll be
But if
cheaper.
I knew the number, when I went to speak to the manager there, I'd say it would cost this much to replace the basketball. Would you be interested in doing maybe half of them this year or half next year? If I had some numbers, I could possibly move that along.
Yeah,
It's two sides of the,
This is, I think you're gonna have a conversation, more than one conversation with them. You gotta approach them subtly and say, look, I understand, can you just
What
give us
area
some
are you in?
parameters?
Diamonds or gold?
Right.
how much effort are we gonna put in if they're saying, well, we don't know, we're gonna be $100 gift
Right,
certificate?
and then you say, that,
Wow.
well, now that I know what we're working with, we'll come back and give you some suggested projects that you might sponsor, without telling them anything. That's the way I would do it.
All right.
Yeah,
All right?
yeah.
I
Thank
think
you.
you have better.
Yep.
So hopefully after the 30th, we'll be able to start doing some work back down at the Green Acres property. We're still cutting the grass. We just can't make any changes.
Yeah.
And just to make it very clear, what the issue was, is there's a deed restriction down at Green Acres to not use certain parts of the property for any use for the borough. Certain areas are sectioned off as Green Acres, cannot be touched.
And we were mowing where we weren't supposed to mow, I
A
believe.
little bit of
A little
it,
bit,
but I think
yeah.
we resolved that. What's that?
State.
No, the idea was if Mark
Oh,
had to be returned to natural. So we can't mow an area, we have to let it go wild. And what we did is we put a fence on one side, we really need a fence on the other side to keep people from cutting through, and we need to let it go back
And
to.
there's a second area that we might put a little sign, instead of putting a full fence, we probably want to get a little sign that says natural area. Do not, no.
I think the little split rail's not expensive, and that really defines the area. Where's that other area?
As you come in, behind the guy road to right, where someone was originally thinking about putting either a dog walk or the bathroom.
Where's this again?
As you come in,
Uh-huh.
the entrance, to the right, behind the guy road is.
That nice grass area? That has to go wild? Oh, it looks so nice. That whole
No,
area?
not the whole area.
How much do we have to get back?
It sits on the plans, I don't have the plans with me, but it's probably.
Just kind of a lady strip.
We had to give that area up in order to get.
What do you think about planting trees there? Can we do that?
I have to look, it's got to return to its natural.
Because the state of New Jersey has 3,000 trees that need to be replanted because of the 295 project,
We can look into that.
you know?
It's got to return.
Because that'll make it look more than just letting it, because that main entrance is a park, and letting it go, and, you know, because that's gonna look really bad. So maybe we can, if you can define what the parameters are, you know. Belmar, I think, identified they can only plant like 300, so there's still 2,700 trees that have to be planted somewhere.
Wow. Cool.
Yeah, have you seen it?
And one other thing, the state high school and colleges have adopted a rule on lightning and thunder. 30 minutes from hearing thunder or seeing lightning. You're supposed to cease and desist all activities on the fields, go to your cars, or vacate the premises, do whatever. Don't go into dugouts.
Oh, really?
It's that type of thing. The high schools, they clear the fields.
So no
They go to the building. And I've done some games in the last week where we had some storms, and I was at Glendora last night, and I told the girls, don't go in the metal dugout. And so what do? They go sit in the middle of the field. I said, no, girls, you're supposed to go to your car. I was trying to work with the coaches on it. They don't know anything about it, but it's something we should adopt in town. I talked with David Banjus last night from softball. He stopped by the house for a second, and he didn't know anything about that.
So is the high schools have adopted all this?
Yes, and the colleges. If you see lightning or hear thunder, you vacate the premises for 30 minutes, and then the clock starts. Then if you have none, then you can come out and play. But after 15 minutes, if it starts again, then the clock starts all over again.
I'm hearing Len in the back, what about the organizations themselves? Shouldn't they be adopting these policies?
It's-
RY and the RG?
I think it's something that we should look at,
'Cause
you know.
how are we gonna enforce it when
Yes.
no one's out there?
Yeah, that's what I, Mr. Wood
And
would
the
answer.
coaches should know
So
that.
this is a lightning policy, so to speak?
Yes.
And who did you say adopted it so far?
The state NJI SSA, the High School Association, and the colleges have adopted it in the state. Other states have adopted it
Let me see
too.
if I can physically find it
Okay.
and read it, and then I can maybe be in a better position to say, give some suggestions about how, we may want to produce this and send a letter to each of the organizations, say, it's important that you adopt this policy and that you live by
And
this
all the
policy.
coaches understand it.
And all the others, so we, okay? Because it may not be something that us,
Yeah.
having a resolution is going to have any impact because they're not our events.
Yeah.
So let me read it and I'll have a better feel.
I don't
So
know.
the umpires taught on this, is that how you?
Yes,
read it?
yeah, umpires, referees, the South Jersey Soccer Association's adopted it. I don't believe it's a state law, but it's just a guideline that is to be followed, but I'm not sure. Len, I can find it, I know where it is on the NJISSA website, and I'll send it to you. And then we can go from there. I think it's just a safety issue, and especially with being myself that I know about it.
So you're enforcing it?
Yeah, I enforce it, and
A
some,
lot of times these games are reffed by the parents,
yes.
so, yeah, how we have to disseminate that information down to them.
Particularly now with me being on council and also being a professional, official, that, you need to enforce these things to let people know about it. Because,
We can always put a couple signs up to it, because that might help.
Yeah,
Well-
we'll see what it says,
Yeah.
then I'll give you some thoughts about what, and it may be that we're gonna do both those things, that we're
Yeah.
going to adopt some policies that, and that we're gonna also communicate it out. Because I think it's important, forgetting all this, it's important that each of these organizations understands that they have a responsibility to educate the coaches
yes,
in safety procedures and so on and so forth. It's their responsibility, okay? And they should know that, and I think most of them probably do know that, and most of them probably do it, but I never think it's bad to reinforce that.
Do we have an oversight of responsibility at all? Because they are our fields, though.
There are fields, and that, but they're using them with permission, and so, but we don't control their scheduling
Okay,
or
yeah.
so on and so forth. We could certainly advise them to put a sign up that says, you must vacate these premises upon, hearing thunder or seeing lightning for a minimum of 30 minutes or something. We could certainly do that, okay? I don't think if we don't do that, we suffer any liability, which is always the question.
yeah, that's the thing I worry about, especially with me being a councilman now.
Yeah, now they might.
Well, councilman, you should have known, not only
No, no,
myself.
Very interesting.
So,
I'll read it and then I'll give you my.
Okay, good.
yeah.
Anything else?
No, and just fan behavior, I witnessed some things over the weekend. One coach got beat up by fans at West Deptford. It was a soccer game. And the coach's girlfriend, it was raining, the coach's girlfriend was sitting in the car, beeping a horn every time her team scored, and they were beating West Deptford pretty badly. And West Deptford parents then beat up her boyfriend, who was the coach.
Where were the referees?
The referee was there, but it was raining, and then the police, according to the man that got beat up, who I know, it took 12 minutes for the police to get there, and that was not a good response, and turned into a pretty ugly situation.
Yeah, hopefully they're gonna follow their own terms.
Yeah, so, but,
But I don't remember what it's called, but Gloucester City actually has an ordinance dealing with conduct on the fields.
Oh, we've adopted an ordinance.
Only on their fields, so it wouldn't impact that one. But, which could involve you being suspended, having to go to anger management classes.
Yes.
A suspension could be lifetime as a maximum. So, and if we have an.
Yeah, we have a conduct at all our facilities.
yeah, conduct
We
policy,
adopted that
yeah.
many years ago.
Yeah.
Do we have penalties?
Mike, do you remember that conduct policy, or I think,
Is it just a policy or if it's not an ordinance?
I think it's an ordinance.
Okay. I'll try.
There's definitely a conduct.
I know there's a policy, because that started like 10 years
Yeah,
ago.
I think we actually posted it some places.
We had, there's it's definitely a policy that is once the cops are called, then it clicks everything into where then it starts falling with punishments and anger management and all, that's written in it, yeah.
We probably just took some of those.
But it's, yeah, probably, but it indicates when, as soon as the cops are called, so, but a lot of other things could happen before.
Gloucester's is pretty cops require the cops, and then there's
Always is.
a representative from each of the sports organizations makes up the hearing body, for lack of a better thing to call it. And a councilman sits, I think only one, but maybe two sits on that body, and the administrator sits on that body. And then so the first investigation is, so a baseball thing, and the baseball organization is respond, they investigate it, they determine that this conduct that requires the whole body to look at it, that might require suspension. So they notify them, and then the person's given notice of what this is about, have a right to come, they have a right to bring witnesses or whatever they want, it's like a little mini hearing, you know. And then this body determines the punishment, whatever, or not, there may not be punishment. And then there's an appeal right to the whole council, and then that's it.
Joyce, do you remember the conduct ordinance?
Up to $500.
Yeah, it's ours.
Oh, it's ours?
For 90 days.
You remember what year was that? Does it say at the top?
It's an ordinance for us.
Yeah.
Ordinance 260-6, adopted 3309.
Oh, right, okay, when I first got
Well,
it.
we did,
500 hours or 62.
$500 for 9 up to 90 days a year.
So this goes to this court.
Goes to municipal.
Any person who violates that.
You think it's in-
Sure. Upon conviction in the municipal court.
upon conviction?
But this is the charge. Well, that takes us out of the loop, which isn't a bad thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're right, having a councilman
That's
sitting there.
egregious. That's good. I mean, listen, it probably gets your attention. If you get charged and have to go to municipal court, it probably gets your attention. There's some people who will never change, but most people will say, you know what, it ain't worth me, you know, throw a hissy fit.
Yeah. Okay.
It's truly amazing how many people I know are on the sidelines. You know, I hear so often, you know, Johnny attacked the ball, and, oh, Johnny can run 2 feet, he's doing well, let alone attack the ball. And you see the parents, they just go ballistic, and it's like, what are you looking at? You know, and it's crazy, some of the stuff that goes on.
I was an umpire once. That was it.
Who was coach?
Did they throw you out?
Were you coaching?
I think I was.
You think you were?
I probably would have thrown you out too.
He's pitching. They don't even know what pitching is. I was umpiring. I was behind the plate.
Anyway,
That was the last time I paid.
the rest, as far as that's a big soccer field, and everything else is progress to
Great,
me.
thank you. We're going to go to, we'll do the councilman and we'll have a professional. Mr. Brown?
Hello.
You might,
It was one.
It was on. You were good.
Good.
Yeah, you good.
that's good?
Singing's one.
Anyway, I got a big time. The new borough parking lot, if you've seen it, it's level, and just waiting for paving. Chief Daly came to a meeting yesterday with Mark and Steve and Patty and myself, and the chief has he has some concerns about the cutout for coming in and coming out of the parking lot onto Blackhorse Pike. And Chief Daly was asking if we can make First Avenue two-way again. That might work. And I talked to Steve last night, Bach, and he said that he's going to, they already are trying to get the cutouts, and I'll see what they're going to say about that. And he's also going to mention First Avenue, right, Mark? So between the two, we'll find out which we feel is better. They're concerned about coming out onto the Blackhorse Pike, making a left, and accidents.
This is Paul.
Paul is, yeah. Chief is concerned with that, and
But the DOT, they,
We're already, if you don't mind.
No, not at all.
We've already started the process of meeting with DOT, so we're going to follow through with that, and see what our traffic consultant recommends, and see what.
So see if he concurs
what
with
DOT
Paul?
says, and maybe it's restricted, maybe they won't allow it at all, but we're going to keep proceeding with that. And then we're going to prepare the plans to go out to bid right now, and we're going to have a base bid, which would be just the one entrance onto First Avenue. We're going to do an alternate bid to have the entrance out on the pike.
Second.
So we're gonna get prices to do both. In the meantime, we're gonna be going to DOT to try and get approval one way or the other, find out, maybe our traffic consultant says it's not warranted, that you can't put it there. We're not sure, we're gonna rely on that.
So as you're saying, we can make a decision.
It's gonna be a traffic, so now we'll have cost estimate, or cost, hard cost, and we'll have
A decision.
a recommendation from our traffic consultant and what DOT will allow, and then we can make a decision
But
at
even
the council level of what you actually want. Because the value of having the entrance coming off the bike is it's more visible, and it's just would allow for better traffic.
More proper.
Chief Dale was concerned if we are restricted with right in and right out only, which is what I personally think.
You think they're gonna come back at you?
Yeah, that's what I think. Steve thinks otherwise. He thinks we're gonna allow
In and
left
out.
turns at certain times. But DOT has the final say on that. But even if we allow right in and right outs, the chief is concerned about enforcement of somebody going left or people getting confused that.
like the Dunkin' Donuts down in Glendora.
So you can cut
You can cut the curve.
Make it really hard, nothing's impossible. Right. To make a left in or a left out. You can cut it right in, right out.
You can put those, the pork chop, it's a concrete,
Force you to go right. So there is things we can do in the design,
actually, we have to wait to get it.
but we're gonna put it out there. We want this thing built relatively soon.
Because if we go out to bid, 30 days, we could award, so we could start construction as early as the summertime with 3 months, whatever, to get it done, things like that.
That's what we're
Christmas.
Yes, but I still think no matter,
Christmas present.
no matter what.
3 and 3 is
First
6.
Avenue should be 2 way.
Because we go out to bid next week, right? 2 weeks,
In 2 weeks, we're looking to go out to bid,
in 2 weeks.
and then once we get prices, those prices are firm for 60 days.
So we have to make a resolution, we have to make a decision.
So within 90 days, you're looking at a decision on what to do, which will give us enough time to have.
Well, we don't have, we can have up tonight.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And we'll have, at that point, we'll have the traffic consultant be done, and then we'll met with DOT, and
When will the DOT and the traffic consultant be done?
that all depends. And that, I don't have a crystal ball for.
It's
They're trying
independent.
they're trying to get a permit for a minor access, which could get done relatively quickly. If DOT determines that it's a major access, then you're looking at something longer.
Does the use of our property make a difference? Does that make a difference at all?
Well, it affects.
I mean, we're not, wow.
It